My name is Jack, and I've been at Skyfall year and a half-ish, going on 2 years. During my last year of graduate school, I was doing internships for physical therapy all over the country, and my first one was in Rochester, New York. And I'd been hearing a lot about CrossFit, from various routes, and I looked up a gym locally there. I believe it was called CrossFit Rochester, and started there on just like it was a 3-month internship, so I did probably 2 by the time I got there and settled, and that was my first CrossFit gym. So from there I had a few 3-month CrossFit gym experiences, and then from there actually kind of went full-time at another gym when I finally got out of grad school. One thing that I think is really cool about Skyfall is that it did start very small, which is exactly what we were looking for when we moved here, was a gym on the smaller side that had the small community feel. One thing that's very cool about Skyfall is they started like that, and then over the past year and a half has progressed to being much bigger, having a lot more access to equipment and gym times and programming, and all the while keeping that small gym feel. So the community portion is what we were looking for in that small gym feel, which is, we feel like, what we get here. So heated topic. Until the Nano 9 came out, I didn't like the Nano since the Nano 4. And I was getting pretty tired of Reebok, and I tried on some Metcons, tried on some Nobles, and I was just thinking about switching. But when the Nano 9 came out, they won me back over. So I'm a Nano 9 guy. I met my fiance at CrossFit. It's an easy one. That's obviously the most major one, but I was pretty good about maintaining a pretty healthy lifestyle beforehand, between fitness and diet. But I think CrossFit really kind of cemented that as a lifestyle. So now it's not, it's more when I'm going to go versus if I'm going to go. Obviously, we all go through periods where it's tough to get to the gym, but in general, I can't ever see myself not having, some sort of fitness in my life. Looking at CrossFit, because workouts change all the time and you're constantly doing different movements and everything is varied and modifiable, you're constantly finding weaknesses and strengths. But when you find weaknesses, you find out what you can work on. And so, obviously, in my profession, somebody comes to us as a physical therapist with some sort of deficit, and that's already known. Whereas, in CrossFit, you might not know what you're not good at until it comes up in a workout, and it's really tough. And then from that point forward, you actually know, this is maybe what I need to work on, whether it's strength or, sequencing of a movement, or if it's flexibility, mobility. So you're going to find something that you need to work on because it's so varied. When I started, obviously, from the standpoint of a PT, and I was in the middle of PT school when I first started really researching CrossFit. Obviously, the first thing that you hear about is injury. If anyone is talking about the negatives of CrossFit, how it's risky. And it's with any sport, and with anything that you're doing that you are trying to change your body, there's risk, and it's all about relative risk and what your goals are. If your goals are to go to the CrossFit Games, you're going to have to incur a lot more risk than someone who is not trying to go to the CrossFit Games. If you're just trying to be able to bring your groceries in from the car, or walk a flight of stairs, or whatever the case may be, you can get that through CrossFit, and you will have much less risk than someone who is going to go, try to go to the CrossFit Games.